most powerful MCs in gaming. Okay, listen, Doom the Dark Ages is going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks, and I am so unbelievably hyped, okay? And understand this. There's a few games that I will absolutely go into nerd mode discussing the lore over, okay? And a bunch of those are actually in this video. That would be stuff pertaining to Elder Scrolls lore, Doom lore, and pretty much anything FromSoft, okay? I appreciate Halo, I appreciate all the other stuff, but that's my jam, okay? And I got into a discussion with my brother about a week ago, and it still bothers me, how he actually thought that a Master Chief versus Doomslayer is even reasonably competitive. I cannot believe in the big old 2025 I have to explain to you how Master Chief, and listen, Master Chief's powerful, I don't want to spoil too much of how we're going to be ranking this, but versus somebody who is literally, like, it actually blows my mind that I don't want to spoil it. I actually don't. I don't want to spoil it, okay? But that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be ranking main characters from your favorite video games. Everything from Master Chief, the Dragonborn from Skyrim, the Courier 6 from Fallout New Vegas, Dante, and many, many more, okay? That is what we're going to be covering in this video. And before we go any further, we are trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and we are on track to do it with the support of you guys. We've basically had our 1-year anniversary of at least videos on the channel just a few days ago. April 30th was the first big video of the channel. And we've been having a really good growth rate, and I want to be able to continue that, and by putting out goals, okay? That being 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and we are trying to get this video, I'm going to say, let's try to get 3,000 likes on this video. I have faith that this will get 3,000 likes, okay? Will it do it soon? Will it do it later? We don't know. With all that out of the way, let's get into the most powerful MCs in gaming. Let's go. Master Chief. Now, understand this. I am aware that Master Chief is not a slouch, okay? However, when you're comparing him up against the upper echelon of characters, when we're talking about the Dragonborn, and we'll cover Dragonborn's feats in a second, and Kratos, I'm sorry, he's not really competing all that much, okay? It's like, Master Chief is powerful, but like, if we're looking at the feats of Master Chief, he is the main character of his universe. However, I'm sorry, if Atriox is gonna be lil broing you, you're getting packed up by any of the top caliber talent. And here's the thing, bro, there's leagues to this. I would put Master Chief as one of the more powerful super soldiers in fiction, and maybe that's a video in and of itself because of how many super soldiers there are. But when I'm talking about Master Chief, the reason why Master Chief is as loved as he is the complexity of Master Chief. Like, I like the idea that Master Chief is a weapon from a forgotten age, that age being when humanity would go to war with each other. That is why he was created. Only for him to be used as a tool of liberation and hope for humanity when the humans got involved with the Covenant. I think that's a super cool dynamic. Like, I want you to think about this. We look at, like, Master Chief through these eyes of he's humanity's savior. Master Chief was going to go to war with other people. And for whatever reason, that's like a terrifying thought to think that that's how, like, Master Chief is that, okay? Master Chief is a weapon of the UAC. Not UAC, UNSC. Dang, Doom is on the mind. However, when we're going over Doomslayer, I can't put him up at that top caliber spot. I'm actually going to put him in terms of how, like, I'm going to put him at the top of Super Soldier. Like, and that's going to be low on here. And don't get me wrong, just about everyone that's on this list is powerful within their own tier. But when I'm talking about Master Chief, he really is at the top of that superhuman category. And even then, there's somebody else on this list that I would put him up against that is actually close enough to him in terms of, like, ability that I think just no-diffs him. We'll cover that in a second, but I think when we're talking about Master Chief, his greatest feats are the fact that humanity was going absolute 0 for 171 battle-wise. Master Chief strolls in, and then humanity starts doing good, and they technically win the Human Covenant War and stave off the Flood. Those feats alone, I gotta put him in superhuman. I think that's fair. The Dragonborn from Skyrim. Listen, I've been going down an absolute insane rabbit hole that is Elder Scrolls lore, okay? Elder Scrolls lore is definitely something I'm open to doing in the future, okay? If I would have known Oblivion was actually coming out and not shadow dropping out of literally nowhere, I probably would have done something. However, now that I'm going into it, I've come to a few conclusions. The Dragonborn should have just immediately been made king. Like 100%. Like, wait, you mean to tell me that in Oblivion, the only thing that was keeping, this is all spoilers, by the way, spoiler, and a little bit of a spoiler, okay? The only thing that was keeping Marun's Degan, okay, one of the Daedra, or Demon Kings, over Oblivion, was a technicality? And that technicality was, oh yeah, bro, the Septim bloodline needs to be on the throne over Skyrim. Not Skyrim, over the Empire. Okay? Now, if that doesn't happen, for any reason, then I can start invading. Okay, what do you mean by any reason? I mean, like, his bloodline is still alive, but the Emperor's dead. So in that, like, month in between, I can invade. Bro, imagine if a world leader got iced and immediately the gates of hell started opening. We would be like, what? Why was I not aware of this? Okay, like, on a real note, that is the equivalent. And I'm recovering Oblivion just to understand why I think he should just be made king. So the Septim bloodline, throughout generations, because they have the blood of the dragon in them, kind of like the Targaryens, have essentially been reigning over Skyrim because they are the rightful royal family, and that keeps Marun's Degan from opening the gates of Oblivion. And then, when the royal family finally falls, I'm not going to spoil that much too heavily. So when the royal family eventually does fall, okay, that's when we get into the Imperials more or less kind of completely and utterly fall off, okay? Because they get a new royal family that's essentially the Baratheons from Game of Thrones, and they get immediately fold to the Thalmor. And I think Thalmor slander might become a new meme of the channel, because I'm over here sounding like the Thalmor #1 hater, and I am. I hate the Thalmor, bro. I would fight for Ulfric's Stormcloak before I fought for the Thalmor, bro. That's how much I dislike him. Okay, so keep in mind, the Septims are Dragonborns. The Dragonborn lineage ends, the devil invades. A new royal family, the Imperials immediately fall off. And then the Dragonborn spots in, fights Akatos, the dragon god of time and worship. His firstborn emo child, Alduin, comes into our timeline because he got banished by the ancient Nords using an Elder Scroll. And yeah, Elder Scroll just do shit. That's another thing. Elder Scrolls, like, I like to think of them as like the Mega MacGuffins. Literally name anything that you could ever want. That's what they do. Okay, we really need something that when we open it, we can send Alduin, basically Dragon Antichrist, to the future to fight the Dragonborn. I got an Elder Scroll for that. What? Where'd you find that? Okay, listen, never mind. Let's go over that. And then, okay, sends to the future, and then just so happens our Dragonborn is there. Immediately comes in with the power of his voice and beats Alduin, sends him to Sovngarde. He goes to Sovngarde, meets the people that banished him to begin with, and then beats him again. Keep in mind, this is the firstborn of Akatos, the literal god of dragons. And this guy's able to get it done, okay? I'm sorry. At that point, and I go into Whiterun and steal some sweet roll, and then the Whiterun guards are say, "You have done enough. Hand it over or go to jail." Brother, I am Dragon Jesus, okay? Do not miss me with that slander, dog. I could kill you with my voice. Get out of my way, boy. Okay, that's what I'm saying immediately. And maybe that's why I'm not the Dragonborn, because I'm immediately misusing it. I'm strolling up the Widhelm, and I'm looking at Ulfric in his eyes, being like, I know you're a double agent for the Thalmor, but I respect what you've done, so I will duel you. I am in no place to duel. Listen here, pussy. Stand up. Fuz Roda, and I'm blowing him outside of the Windhelm, okay? I am the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, and then another Dragonborn named Barak that signed a deal with basically Daedra Cthulhu to be out of time. I stroll into his time dimension, smoke his ass, end a war, and now I'm the leader of the Stormcloaks that, well, now I'm the leader because I just no-diffed Ulfric. Okay? Leader of the Dark Brotherhood, leader of the Companions, leader of the Thieves Guild. I have every single Daedric and Dwarven artifact. Bro, I'm essentially Elder Scrolls version of the most interesting person ever. Okay? I'm strolling into the Imperial Palace, and I will say something like, I don't know. I am the new, get rid of the royal family, bro. Martin Septim was the last great one. I am taking everything over. I am the second coming of Talos, bro. I would be saying some shit like that. And the Thalmor, first order of business, round them up and exile them from our lands. First thing I'm doing, bro. And in terms of power level, man, we just had a lot of lore right there. I'm gonna put him in God level. Not quite God Slayer level, because we'll get that into a second. But yeah, I would put him above yes, the Dragonborn, unironically, beats the absolute tar out of Master Chief. Well, he has weapons. I have the ability to turn my skin into stone, and I can make a force field with my hand, and I can... what are we talking about? If I say the right words to you, I steal your soul. What is that power, bro? I'm putting that in, just God tier, bro. God tier, no question. The Courier 6 from Fallout New Vegas. Okay. Now, I think, honestly, and we'll cover somebody else later on in the video, the power of Courier 6 really just comes down to his mentality. I'm sorry, bro. You got shot in the head, and you are motivated by nothing other than just pure annoyance that it happened, that you are here deciding the fate of the wasteland between Caesar's Legion, the NCR, and Deathclaws that Roman packs. Okay? Over the New Vegas Strip? What are we doing, bro? In my mind, and I know he's working in Season 2, okay? And I'm crossing my fingers that we get a Fallout 3 remaster for Fallout Season 2, okay? In my mind now, the Courier 6 has the voice of Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. 100%. I don't think he's a calm and collected guy. I think he has a bipolar disorder, and the moment that there's a slight inconvenience, he's over here like, shut the fuck up. Bro, I hear ringing. I see you. Soldier, there's nobody there. Don't talk back to me, boy. I'll be saying some stuff like that, man. That is the end. That's him. Does this guy look... If somebody strolled up in that helmet, I don't assume he has the right frame of mind, okay? And yeah. Now, is he that powerful? No. Okay? I'm putting him in human. He's human level. But... I think he honorable mention, because I do think his story's pretty funny, bro. The level of annoyance that you have to literally be too angry to die is so funny to me. And the Fallout universe, yo, maybe I can do a Fallout themed video for Season 2. Yeah, I could do that. That you know what? I'm putting that in the back of my mind. Okay, I got a few other things. I'll put that in the back of my mind. Dante from Devil May Cry. There's another one. I've been going down the Devil May Cry lore, and I'm gonna be real with you. There's not a lot there. Am I the only one that was, kind of disappointed that, Devil May Cry lore, as much as it, leads on that there's something major, what essentially Devil May Cry lore is imagine if hell and earth were on the same plane of reality. Okay, think about, think about this, bro. You know how, Africa and South America low-key kind of fit together because we were once a big super continent called Pangea? Now imagine that, but hell and our dimension, okay? And then the demons were conquering the lands of man because we were absolute squishy little pig people. And then this guy, which turned out to be the father of Virgil and Dante, came in, the Black Knight Sparta, and then kind of more or less one-man armied and split the planes of reality, where the planes of man and the planes of hell were separated, okay? And then Sparta lives as a dude for an unclear amount of time, which is another weird thing. And then gets with a white chick, and they have two babies, Dante and Virgil. And Dante and Virgil are each given a little piece of a rock that can open the gates of hell, essentially. And yeah, they're not as powerful as their dad, really, but they're kind of as powerful as their dad. Abilities of Dante: plot, regeneration, super strength, super fast reflexes, pretty much anything, honestly. Name a weapon, he has it. He has a weapon that can turn into weapons, but you have to guess what the weapon is before it turns into it. What the fuck is that, dog? on a real note, and we have Rebellion, and Rebellion's pretty powerful, but it's not as powerful as Yamato. However, Rebellion turns into like a devil sword because he tries to yeah, that happens. And then he becomes even more powerful, and that's before we get into like devil trigger stuff, where he basically becomes Super Saiyan for a moment. Okay? And when I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna put him in, you could argue God tier, but I'm gonna keep, that's tough. I'm going to put him in God tier. I am, bro. That's actually a relatively close matchup that we're playing with when we're talking about Dante. Ooh, I'm actually going to put him above Dragonborn. Why? Because Dragonborn does struggle with some things, but maybe that's because of plot. Okay, well, there's somebody else that only struggles because of plot, and we'll cover that in a second. But I'm going to put Dante in God. I'm going to open the Godslayer, bro. But he can lose. I will say that. He did lose in DMC 5 quite a bit, actually. So I'm going to put it in God tier, bro. Kratos. Here's the thing about Kratos that bothers me. He has abilities that are just straight up like, he can't die because of a technicality. And if he can die, it's because of a technicality. So it angers me, because it's kind of like, what? It's like, yes, he's doomed to never have rest. What? So yeah, so like the rest of Afterlife, you can't... You accidentally made his ass immortal? Oh yeah, bro, and he can never throw a matchup. If he loses a fight, he has to lose it because he wanted to lose it. So let's actually get into how fucking broken that ability is then. So you mean to tell me that if he doesn't try in a battle and you him, okay? He actually can't die from that, because then the argument is, oh, well, he let you swing the final hit. Why isn't... No, that is according to their own stated rules. Even if it's somebody that would beat him, if he just is like, then hit me then it doesn't count? Then it doesn't? That is such a broken ability then. Okay, but let's say he doesn't have that. He can lose, and I think there are some people that I think he would lose too. But then we're talking into like we're playing with technicalities with Kratos here. I'm gonna put Kratos in. You can do Godslayer. You can do Godslayer, but the problem is you got Dante, and I do think Dante stands a pretty good chance. And yes, I'm sorry, I said the debate before. When we're talking about Dragonborn versus, like, Kratos, who would actually win? This is what I've come down to. The Dragonborn is the most powerful human I think I've ever seen. Dante doesn't count. Kratos doesn't count. He's a god. Doesn't really count. So, I'm open to it, and maybe if he gets more of the power of Akatos, then we can have that conversation. But in terms of man, I think he beats just about everybody. So I'm going to put him right there. I think, yeah, Kratos Godslayer, you have to put him. Asura from Asura's Wrath, never played the game. I'll just admit it. Never got to play the game, and that's why I've never covered it. And, I did do a little brief research on power scaling, and it essentially boiled down to... Name it, he could probably win. That's essentially what happened. He fought a god that literally dwarfed the size of Earth. No. Yeah, made the Earth, he mogged the fucking Earth. And then he won, because he's that guy. I think you guys have seen the clip. It's one of the most crazy power scaling clips I've ever seen. But this is where it breaks my brain. They did a death battle between Asura and Kratos won. And nobody could come up with a good argument for saying why he couldn't. Want to know why? The technicalities for Kratos are just stupid. It is. It really is just kind of dumb. And for that, I'm going to listen to the death battle here, the expert opinion, and I'm going to put Asura just under Kratos. I'm open to moving up a bit, but yeah, I got to put him there. The Hunter from Bloodborne. Okay, so for Bloodborne lore for you to get to understand a little bit more. Imagine if in Victorian London, also known as Yarnum in this case, okay? There's basically the healing shirts, which was like in this scenario, okay, the Catholic shirts if they got in the pharmaceuticals. That's essentially what the healing shirts is in the lore of Bloodborne, okay? And business is booming. People are getting healed. Children are not dying of ailments. Childbirth is at an all-time high. Everybody's getting it on, okay? We're doing good, man, okay? Now, what if I told you that the healing elixir that they're doing is actually blood from Cthulhu, and Cthulhu's not actually dead yet? Yeah, that happened, okay? It's no bueno. It's no bueno para nada, man. Okay? So, they got it from the old blood, and then they started taking some other blood, and then this blood wasn't so clean. And then this blood started turning people into werewolves and other monstrosities. Now, the Healing Shirts hired a separate wing called the Hunters Guild, and the Hunters Guild's whole thing was to get rid of these werewolves before news got out that the blood was turning them into that. Yeah. That's essentially what the first hunters were, and they were started by a guy named Gehrman, and Gehrman's one of the final bosses that you face in the game, and that's what Gehrman's whole thing is, okay? But Gehrman essentially makes a deal with the Moon Cthulhu to make a pocket dimension called the Hunter's Dream, because he gets let go from his job, and then they do a different Hunters Guild to get rid of it. And then, bada bing, bada boom, there is more monsters, and then the Cthulhu demons start breaking into our reality, and then you go in the Yharnam because you basically got a backache, and then they give you this old blood that makes you one of the hunters, and now you're doomed to hunt until the night is over. And then we get into, I've talked about the hunter from Bloodborne quite a bit. I think he's actually supposed to be Jack the Ripper, and that is why he is way too okay with this. Like, bro, I'm sorry, his time was almost up, and he killed the fucking moon so he could spend longer in this time and made the monsters more difficult. This is not a normal human. This is a menace, okay? And is able to get it done. Beating gods straight up outside of our realm of, like, just thinking about them, okay? We can't comprehend their existence. Comprehend their existence, okay? That is how powerful he is. And this is going to sound blasphemous as fuck, but I'm going to be real here. Bloodborne, you kind of have to put him in Chosen One. You do have to. You have to put him above Master Chief. Why do you got to put him above Master Chief? Unironically, dog, he might parry him. He might parry him and then just impale him on a Switchblade, bro. Yeah, Bloodborne goes in Chosen One. Steve from Minecraft. For Sitch and Giggles, we're gonna do a creative mode. God. I'm sorry, he just is. Even in, like, normal, bro. Do you have any idea how much 64 blocks of gold is? And he can hold 100 of them? 100 stacks of 64, bro? He is absolutely insane. What a unit, bro. If we're taking all that power into account, unironically, we're putting him in God level. Now, Kratos would probably find a way to win. This is how stupid it is, and I can see it happening. If Kratos is fighting creative mode Steve, he would lose the first battle, get sent to the Nether, and then find the command block to turn him into survival mode and then beat him there. That's probably what would happen if we're being real here, and I see that happen with Asura's Wrath. Now, if it's in survival mode, he loses the most of these, but I'm gonna put him in God. God level. Yeah, that's fair. Malum Caedo from Warhammer Boltgun. Okay, imagine Master Chief, but if we hopped him up on just every single and performance-enhancing substance on the planet, and then made him really, really angry, and then you made him listen to death metal and got him really religious. That's essentially what Malum Caedo is. And he's one of the most powerful, like, normal people in Warhammer right now, okay? This is a guy. So at the end of Warhammer Space Marines 1, Space Marines 2 released a little bit ago. I think you guys at least is somewhat understanding of what's going on. Okay, a planet fell to the armies of chaos. There's orcs, there's death, there's demons, there's all of that bad stuff, okay? And our hero gets exiled to death swats, and yeah, that happens. And then Malum Caedo gets sent in, one man armying the entire planet, beating multiple archdemons, which are like number 3 in the lineup of armies of chaos, and literally everybody else is getting got there. I'm gonna be real here. You kind of have to put, that's like, yeah, Chosen One. This is like Doomslayer before he got insanely overpowered. This is this average Doomslayer, bro. 1 versus 10 billion on a planet. I have to put Chosen One. Master Chief isn't winning that, dog. Starkiller from Force Unleashed. Absolutely loved this game, dog. I love Force Unleashed, man. And I miss these types of games where I'm just able to have a little power fantasy. There's no microtransactions. There's just fun. And I'm gonna be real, I think a big reason why the hack and slash genre more or less kind of died Not because it was oversaturated, because there really wasn't. No, it died because microtransactions do not fit this type of game, and that's the truth. The reason why so many games are RPGs now, even games that don't really make sense, like, no, bro, if you have a force multiplier in a game, and if I hit somebody with it, there's a number over their head, that's so stupid, that should not be a thing, okay? And when we're talking about Force Unleashed, you couldn't really do that in that game. There's not a lot of stats. It's just you absolutely no different foos. And I love that. Now, in terms of power level, I think he beats... I think he beats Courier 6. I think he beats Master Chief. I think he beats the Hunter. Malum Caedo, we are getting unreasonably close. But I am going to give it to Starkiller. Now I'm gonna make a lot of you mad. I just don't see him beating Dragonborn. I don't. Like, at all. Oh, well, what would you even do? Did we just gloss over the fact that the Dragonborn canonically can summon a storm whenever he wants to? Oh, well, that's not that bad. Here's another one. He can rip the soul from your body by saying 2 words. 3 words, he can rip the soul from your body, capture your soul in a Pokemon ball called a soul gem, and then sets your body on fire. What type of ability is that, dog? And yeah, I think that's way more Dude, I was scarred as a kid because I found out that every single time you capture a soul in a soul gem in Skyrim, they actually get sent to a pocket dimension where you use... Brother, unironically, I know that timestamp guy is going to be here. The Dragonborn would just absolutely decimate Starkiller and then use his soul to enchant some fucking boots. Real talk, that's probably what would happen. I'm going to put him in Chosen One beneath the Dragonborn. Issac Clark from Dead Space. Now, he is not Master Chief level, but I think it needs to be brought up that he just has a superhuman level of plot armor. Like, when you're playing back those games, you don't think about it until you replay Dead Space. You're like, no, you should have died here. There's no way that you could still be alive from this, dog. And it'll be like stuff like, what do you mean? The marker that was so powerful that it influenced the very evolution of humanity into what we became and literally guided us to the stars. It can't break you? What do you mean? It literally made your evolution. And that thing can't break you mentally? I know there's like a plot reason behind it, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. Like, at all. Like, no, bro, plot armor is absolutely insane. Now, I'm still gonna put him in human, but as of right now, I think you gotta put him at the top of human, dog. I think, yeah, I really do believe you have to, man. Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the most underrated franchises I've ever played. It's not bad, and when somebody says, oh, well, why hasn't it never, like, achieved, like, high-level, regards? Because the first one released by Breath of the Wild, and the second one released by Elden Ring. Look that shit up. Horizon Zero Dawn is easily the unluckiest game I've ever seen. There's no reason why it should get that unlucky, bro. And when we're looking at Aloy here, I'm sorry, she's taking on a Robo-Tyrannosaurus Rex. If that does not put her on your radar of what the hell, she's healing herself with berries. Beating the... Like, dude, we're getting into the third game, and, like, the basic lore, I'm just giving a little bit of lore here. The basic lore of Horizon Zero Dawn is essentially what happened. Humanity made Terminator, and Terminator wiped out humanity. But not only wiped out humanity, it made itself into a version that eats biomass, so it killed off everything. That's why there's not a lot of animals in Horizon Zero Dawn, except for robotic ones. And then it essentially ran out of mass, and then humanity escaped in spaceships or cloned themselves on Earth, and then the original Hades chased after it into space, and then it's now chasing them back here. So we're essentially fighting a multi-planetary threat that is made out of all of the... It's basically... It's basically Am from... I have no mouth, but I must scream. And then it's also the souls of the fallen people that fall during the fall of humanity. That's a lot of falls right there. So, yeah, that's what C's gonna have to fight, bro. I'm going to put her in human and at the top of human, okay? I think that's a fair take. I really do believe that's a fair take. Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. I just think it'd be kind of fun to put him in here. I do. He's not the weakest, but, like... let's be real here. He, amazing, very well written character. I love Ghost of Tsushima. Jin Sakai's really dope. I want him to be made into a movie. But when I'm looking at it, if we're comparing to everybody else, but yeah, I was about to say it too. I really do believe the Carrier 6 is beating him in a fist fight and probably calling him a slur. Like, does this guy not look like he absolutely holds that hard R, bro? That's what I get. That's the vibe I get from that. I'm putting Jin Sakai at the bottom of human. Now, not for long because of the next one. Arthur Morgan. Yes, if we're counting Arthur Morgan into this, Jin Sakai's probably beating his ass too. And I know somebody's gonna bring up weapons. I'm sorry, bro. The reaction time of my Jin Sakai, he probably already has Deadeye. He probably already does. Now, I would even argue that if you don't even give him that weapon, bow and arrow alone, he's probably going to ice Arthur Morgan because he's going to sneak up on him because, I'm sorry, Arthur Morgan's over here having tuberculosis lung where he's literally coughing his lungs out, and that's going to alert Jin Sakai to absolutely ice his ass. So I'm going to put it right there, okay? He's at the bottom of human. Man, that made me feel sad, dog. The Tarnished from Elden Ring. As somebody who did a whole Elden Ring lore video, okay, I think here's the thing. It's very misunderstood because I would argue the main ability that makes him as overpowered as he is that he can respawn over and over and over again. Yes, and that ability only occurs in this one time frame because America stole the Rune of Death, though death doesn't really exist in the same way that it does here. It exists differently in the lands between. And another reason is that the Tarnished are kind of just built different. That's another reason they were part of the armies of Godfrey when they were doing the Crusades. But when we're looking at the Tarnished here, you kind of have to put him in like Chosen One level. And I'm going to put him above. Here's the... Okay, I'm going to put him above the Hunter. Okay? Yes, he slays way more gods. I'm going to put him in front of Malum Caedo. Why? Tarnished would find a way to parry that shit. And when we're putting him up against Doomslayer, not Doomslayer, when we're putting him up against Starkiller, I'm going to put him in God. I am going to put him in God tier, okay? Not quite at the point of Dragonborn. Again, he has an ability. Bro, he just has to say a few words and he wins, okay? I'm going to put him at the bottom of God tier. Geralt of Rivia. We finally got somebody that's another superhuman. Yes, I would put Geralt of Rivia above the entirety of human because, I mean, if we're looking at reaction times and everything, the only one that I would argue is kind of close to him in the human category would be Aloy because he's over here pulling back. The bow has to be like over 100 pounds of draw weight. It has to be to penetrate steel that much. And for that reason, I'm going to put Geralt of Rivia. And if we're looking at feats... If we're looking at the feats of Geralt of Rivia, I mean, superhuman reflexes, he has fucking night vision, he has magic, he has all of this, all of that. I'm going to put him at the same level as superhuman as Master Chief, Doug. I'm gonna, that sounds weird, but I gotta put him there. Doomslayer. I wanted to end with Doomslayer just for the comedic effect of literally everybody on this list, he would struggle fighting them, and then would win. No, because... This is how nutty the lore of the Doomslayer is, okay? He is more powerful than just about every entity that you can ever put him up against. Now, the reason that he struggles versus anything is purely up to him. Oh, he had trouble with an imp. Yeah, because he wanted to. He wanted to have some difficulty. Brother, he doesn't even have to use weapons. He's more powerful with his bare hands than he is with weapons. He literally generates his own ammo because... Yeah, that's another thing that he can do. He can heal himself off of beating the tar out of another creature. Okay? Another ability that he just gave himself. Now, if we want to talk about Doom Guy, okay? Doom Guy alone is like Malum Caedo level because he was able to hold off the entire invasion of hell. It's not that he lost to the demons. The demons were just... No, humanity lost to the demons before Doom Guy did. And then goes into hell. Multiple eon-long crusade. Becomes the Doomslayer because they put him in the divinity machine. And essentially just kills everything. With one-man army beats the entire legion of hell. And then kills God. And then goes to sleep because there's nobody left to fight, bro. I'm putting the Doomslayer at the top of Godslayer because he beats... literally everybody off plot armor alone. And there you go. Those are the most powerful MCs in gaming, okay? This definitely isn't going to start a debate, but I'm open to it. All the power scalers can go in the comment section, do their thing, and I'm sure it will not be incredibly toxic in this comment section. But before you do that, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get this to 3,000 likes, and we're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We have a lot of new stuff coming. Oh my goodness. And that'll be coming out within the next coming days. We have Confessions Part 3 coming out this Sunday. I'm going to be filming that tomorrow. We have more videos that are coming out with the new set over there. We have a Doom lore video that's going to release and to coincide with the release of Doom the Dark Ages. And then after that, back on work for the Berserk video. We have a whole lot of stuff that's coming out for the channel, and I am so hyped to be able to put those out. And this is only possible with the support of you guys. We have also live streams that are coming. We're going to start doing memberships, but you aren't going to lose out on anything you normally have. It'll probably be like a bonus video that I can post on like a Patreon or something. I don't know. We have a whole lot of new stuff coming. So be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and to be notified when that comes in. With all that out of the way, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Adios.